Will address converting images that are raw placed in your InDesign file and preparing them for print for principals. So what I have here is a photograph that has been placed on the page. You'll notice that the photograph extends all the way to the bleed line, not to the trim line of the book. If I click on the photograph with my black arrow tool and select my links palette, I'll see that the format is JPEG, which is okay. Color space is RGB, which is not okay. And the DPI, actual PPI here, is 72, which also is not okay. So what I want to do is I want to replace this with an image. I want to format the image so that it's ready to go to a printer. So I'm going to hold down my control key and click on the link, and I'm going to select Edit With. And with that, I'm going to edit with Adobe Photoshop, the latest version of Photoshop you have. What it will do is it will bring in the photograph import that you have in your InDesign file. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Image at the top in Photoshop and go to Image Size. And you'll notice when you first open this window, what's going to happen is you're going to see a link between width and height, which is good, meaning if you change any number in the width, it's automatically going to link to the height and change it. What you want to do is you want to change, and you'll see that this image is 59 inches by about 40 inches, so it's really big, but the resolution is 72 dpi. This is the most important thing. Make sure to click off of resample. And if you do click off of it, you'll see that all three of these areas are locked together. So if I change one number, all of the numbers will change. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select that 72 with the three areas locked, and I'm going to change it to 200 dpi. Now notice what happened was that when I increased the resolution, it decreased the size of the image, which is good. We want to be able to keep it like that. We just don't want to put in any number and keep it at a 59 by 40, whatever that original large size was. I'm going to tell it OK. Next thing, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to back to image up at the top, and I'm going to go to mode, and I'm going to select, change it from RGB color to CMYK color. And yes, I'm going to change the color space. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to mode, adjust. I might want to adjust it a little bit. I'm going to adjust the contrast just a little bit to get it just a little bit lighter, a little bit more saturated, a little bit more contrast, and tell it OK. Lastly, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a file save as, and I should get a window, and you'll see I have the generic name of the file. What I'm going to do is I'm going to actually give it a name. So I could call it page, whatever the page is, or I'll just call this Fritos and Flowers. I don't know what the recipe is, but that's okay, just as long as I have an identifier. I could save this file either as a JPEG or a TIFF. That's it. For Photoshop, it must be either JPEG or a TIFF. And I'll save it as a JPEG and save it to the folder where my images are. And I want the JPEG options to be high and OK. So that's saved. We're good to go. Let's go back to InDesign. And what I'm going to do is select the photo again. And this time I'm going to do a control click on the image, and I'm going to relink it. And I'm going to relink it with that new image that I just saved, Fritos Flowers JPEG. And if I tell it OK, it should replace it. And it did. You'll see here's the new image in position to where I had it before. And if I click on this image, it's a JPEG, it's CMYK, and the DPI or PPI is 200. It's good to go. Save your file and go to your next photograph.